Hello and welcome to the Fulhamish quick take after Fulham's 2-2 draw against Liverpool at Anfield. What a match, first and foremost. What a game. It had a little bit of everything. Diogo Jota's 86th minute equaliser robbed Fulham of a precious win, a rare win at Anfield. This was a roller coaster. There's just no other way of describing this game. And look, it's hard not to come away with it with a sense of what might have been. When you're leading at Anfield with 4 minutes left of normal time and they're down to 10 men, that is a missed opportunity. I'm delighted with a point. If you'd have offered me a point before the game, I'd have said, yes, sir, thank you very much, on my way. But in the circumstances, it is a little bit disappointing. However, there's no getting away from the fact that Fulham were brilliant today. And as you say, if you play the team top of the league, kind of runaway top of the league as well, away from home, and you get a point, you have to be happy with that. Fulham rang in the changes, some enforced, some not. Jorge Cuenca came in for the suspended Calvin Bassey. In came Andreas Pereira, which I thought was an interesting decision from Marco. He went for the City away formation once again, and once again, it worked. We looked pretty effective from the off in this game. And obviously it's Andreas Pereira that gives Fulham the lead. A really good finish. How can he finish those kind of chances and he can't finish some of the ones that he misses? But let's focus on the positives. It's outrageous how he gets his foot to that, how he manages to then squeeze that past Alisson. I think the deflection definitely helped kind of wrong foot Alisson. To do that at the Kop is pretty impressive. And look, Andreas Pereira's had a really tough few weeks. Self-inflicted, tough few weeks, granted, with what he said in the press about the move to Marseille. Well, look, I don't think it's fully all of his bridges mended, but that goes a long way. Ultimately, goals, assists will be what ultimately wins over Fulham fans. And yeah, it's a really, really good finish. And it puts Fulham in a brilliant position, which we then capitalise on not long later when Harry Wilson is brought down by Andy Robertson. I mean, this is clear as day, right? Andy Robertson, it's not the greatest pass to Harry Wilson. It looks like Andy Robertson has it. But Harry Wilson, he's nippy, he's quick, and he just doesn't see him coming, does he? And I mean, it's a clear red card. I know there is some chatter from, I assume, Liverpool fans mostly about whether the fact that then Raul Jimenez had a chance to score, whether that means it shouldn't be a red card. But the law of the game is pretty simple. Denial of a goal-scoring opportunity is down to the player being denied a goal-scoring opportunity, not the team. So the fact that Harry Wilson was denied the goal-scoring opportunity means that it's a red card. It's relevant if Raul Jimenez has a chance after that. I didn't write the rules. That is literally the rules. So as soon as they found out that it was onside, there was no other decision. Like there is just, it is factual. That is a red card if there is any debate. And Fulham just looked really good for their lead at half-time. And dare I say it, that we need to be more clinical. We had moments, we had opportunities to make it too, and we don't. And look, I think that's been a common theme of Fulham this season, is like, we are brilliant, we are fantastic going forward, but we're just not very clinical. We get a lot of chances, we make a lot of opportunities, and we just flit them away with the wrong pass, the wrong decision. There was a few in the second half. The one for me that was like begging was Alex Iwobi missing a through ball to Harry Wilson, who would have been clean on goal with a fairly simple pass. And look, I'm not ratting out Alex Iwobi here. Our whole forward line was guilty of it. And in fact, it looked like they were getting kind of annoyed with each other in the first half, just for not often getting the right pass at the right time, because Liverpool were down to 10 and then they were chasing it. Chances were there for us to go forward, particularly down the left. We know that Trent Alexander-Arnold's defending is not great, and Iwobi and Robinson in particular down the left having a lot of joy, but just they're not quite finding the right pass, things not coming off. It is a shame. And once again as well, Fulham concede straight after half-time. What is it about the period just after half-time? What is Marco doing in the changing room? Why can Fulham just not seem to get through this 45 to 60 minute mark without conceding. It is getting quite repetitive. It feels like quite an avoidable goal as well. Salah has all the time in the world. Not sure what happens to Kenny Tete. It's not a foul. I mean, he claims a foul from Luis Diaz. He maybe gets tangled with him a little bit, but it just seems a little bit basic. When you're a man up and they're down to 10 men, I feel like we have to be doing better at A, stopping the cross, and B, marking our men. Like, how is Cody Gakpo so free at the back post? But Fulham responded well, actually. I kind of feared at that moment that Liverpool had the momentum, but once again, we kind of wrestled back some momentum, and again, created lots of opportunities to make opportunities. I feared that it was only going one way. And then, of course, brilliant goal from Fulham. Anthony Robinson, wow. So tenacious throughout the game. The way that he is it's like a Duracell bunny. Just keeps going back and forth, creating opportunities at one end, shutting down the world's best wingers at the other. You think that the 6 days that he's had, kind of keeping Bukayo Saka quiet, also keeping Mo Salah pretty quiet, and still getting forward to make opportunities. The goal, I think, will go down as a Jarrell Kwanzaa own goal. It doesn't look like it's going in off Muniz. He gets a little bit of a flick to it, but I think it is Kwanzaa who ends up putting it in his own net. But what a moment for Rodrigo Muniz. He celebrated it in front of those Fulham fans at Anfield like it was his own. And at that moment, I did start to dream. I did start to think, can we hold on? This episode of Fulhamish is brought to you by NordVPN, which is the tool I use to watch all the festive football by changing the location of either my tablet, my laptop, or my phone. It is particularly perfect for those 3 p.m. kickoffs which aren't available here in the UK. All you need to do is go to NordVPN, change the location of your laptop or whatever device you're using, and then you can access platforms which are not only much cheaper than those here in the UK, they also show all the games, unlike what we have, where we only get a fraction of them. It means that I can watch every single Fulham game, whether it's on the telly or not. I also use NordVPN in order to access cheaper flights and hotels, as quite often, switch your location and you'll find those become a bit less expensive as well. You can use NordVPN on up to 10 devices, so I share my login with friends, family, and colleagues. And right now, you can get a great deal by going to nordvpn.com/Fulhamish. Not only will you get to access a great rate, but you get 4 extra months as well, and it's completely risk-free thanks to Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. So to get that great rate plus 4 extra months, go to nordvpn.com/Fulhamish. That's nordvpn.com/Fulhamish. It is then disappointing, the defending for Diogo Jota's goal. Cuenca had a brilliant game. I thought he looked good. I thought he looked calm. I thought he looked composed. When you consider that's his full Premier League debut, he did well. It's Diogo Jota. He's a very good player. He'll spin many defenders in his career. Sadly, Jorge Cuenca is now one that he's added to his list. It's just what happens, I think, when you enter this caliber of opposition. You switch off for 1 second and they will punish you. He's done very, very well there. It just feels a little bit avoidable. And the fact that we defended so stoutly, Issa Diop once again. Anderson does not get back in this team straight away. I don't know when Anderson does. I think he might be now getting back towards fitness. Issa Diop is not giving him a chance to get back in this team. He was immense once again today. The amount of headers he wins. He's stout at the back. He's been passing it well. He's not making mistakes. He was brilliant. And I thought Cuenca worked well with him today. When you consider that is our backup defence, our backup centre-back pairing, for the fact that we did so well against an incredibly talented Liverpool front 3 or 4, it is commendable. It's just a shame for Cuenca that ultimately he does make a little bit of a mistake, or he gets done, more to the point. Fulham were a bit under the cosh for injury time. Where did 9 minutes come from? Flabbergasted. Adama Traore maybe could have won it at the end. I never felt that confident, though, with the chance he had. I never really felt like it was actually going to get past Alisson. And by the end, I think Fulham were just happy to end the game. We looked knackered. Despite having all the rest and stuff, I think that we were getting put for a spin cycle towards the end. The Anfield crowd was roaring the team on. And especially after last year, where we actually ended up losing the game, I think for this Fulham team, they will feel some pride that actually, okay, We were put under it by Liverpool, but we still managed to come away with a point, which we will 100% take. I think the last thing I wanted to mention, though, is that Fulham's record when taking the lead this season is now getting quite atrocious. 17 points by my calculations that we have dropped from winning positions this year. I hate to say it, but if we had held on to the lead in all of those games, and it's a big if, no team holds on to every lead that they get, we would be top of the league by 6 points with 41. It's a lot of leads that we're letting slip. It maybe is kind of Silver's tactics. We're very strong in the first half. We then, obviously, as I talked about earlier, are fading out, particularly after half time. But that is an awful lot of points that Fulham have dropped from winning positions. There is just no two ways about it. And, you know, we've talked a lot about this season, I feel like, on Fulhamish, of what might have been, what might have been, what might have been. And this is another to add to the list of what might have been. But at least we managed to hold on. The fact that we're 16 games into this season, we've only lost 4 times. Like, Fulham are being slept on by so many people. We are taking on every single team. No one wants to face Fulham. No one. Because we are not giving anyone an easy game. And you think about the matches that we've had in the last few weeks. Spurs, Brighton, Arsenal, now Liverpool. And we've managed to get something out of all of them. 1 defeat in 8. And it's just incredible that defeat came along to Wolverhampton Wanderers, who once again lost today. How we didn't win that one is a bit beyond me. But we really do just look fantastic. Marco Silva is making this team so much greater than the sum of its parts. And you hope now we've got another easier game next weekend against Southampton. Please make this one count. We've just come through all of these games against really talented, expensively assembled opposition. Now is the time for Fulham to go and get 3 points. Please, just don't do another Wolves on me, because this team is so talented, and I really am starting to believe that I don't think we'll necessarily get Europe, but we are so in that picture. We have to be. The fact that we are taking on all of these teams, if we can just find some consistency, if we can start picking up the points that we should and could against sides lower down the table more regularly, stop throwing away silly leads. You know, it's one thing, okay, maybe to lose the lead at Anfield and City like we have, but it is still those ones at Everton, against West Ham. If we can hold on to a few more of these, there's no reason why we can't, because we are so brilliant. So brilliant with the ball. We're adventurous. We need to be a little bit more clinical too, as I mentioned. But yeah, I think you got to look at this game, take the positives. But there is still room for this Fulham team to grow as well. And I really hope in the second half of the season we can just make a few more of the leads stick. For more analysis on this game, do check out the podcast. It will be out on Monday. Let us know what you thought of the game down in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. We'd very much appreciate it. Have a great weekend. You Whites.